Thanks for staying with us. You are watching WION World as one, and this is Speed News. Let's start with all the top stories making headlines today. US President Donald Trump warned that American forces have yet to begin destroying what remains in Iran. In a Truth Social post, he signaled bridges next, followed by power plants. The latest warning came hours after Trump claimed Iran's tallest bridge had been destroyed. The permanent mission of the Islamic Republic of Iran to the United Nations issued a sharp response to Washington, asserting that Trump's Stone Age threat reflects ignorance, not strength, and constitutes evidence of intent to commit war crimes under international humanitarian law. In a post on X, the Iranian mission to the UN added, Iran's civilization spans more than 7,000 years, whereas the US is scarcely 250 years old. Civilizations are defined by their history, culture, resilience, and scientific contributions, and such a civilization cannot be destroyed by bombing. The UN Security Council has postponed a vote scheduled for today on authorizing the use of defensive force to protect shipping in the Strait of Hormuz from Iranian attacks. The explanation provided was that the UN recognizes Good Friday as a public holiday, even though this was already known when the vote was initially scheduled. No alternative date for voting on the draft has been announced. The resolution is drafted by Bahrain with backing from Gulf Arab nations. Reports say the efforts face opposition from veto-wielding members like China, Russia, and France. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards have launched a fresh series of missile and drone strikes on targets in the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Israel, including facilities linked to US steel and aluminum industries and an Israeli arms factory. Iran says these salvos are retaliatory, a direct response to recent attacks on its own steel plants and industrial sites by US and Israeli forces. Iran says at least 8 people have been killed and nearly 100 wounded after a US strike hit the B1 bridge linking Karaj and Tehran, a major infrastructure project in western Iran. US President Donald Trump publicly took credit for the strike, posting footage of the bridge's collapse and warning Tehran that there would be much more to follow unless Iran makes a deal. A UK-led meeting of around 40 countries has ended with a strong demand for the immediate and unconditional reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, but without any tangible breakthrough. British Foreign Minister Yvette Cooper said Iran's actions in the Strait of Hormuz risk holding the global economy hostage and must not be allowed to continue. During the meeting, foreign ministers and representatives explored a range of possible coordinated actions, including increased diplomatic pressure through international platforms such as the United Nations, as well as the potential imposition of sanctions. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said his country is ready to share its maritime expertise with partners willing to help reopen the critical Strait of Hormuz. He made the statement as dozens of countries held talks to form a coalition aimed at reopening the waterway. This after US President Donald Trump said securing it was a problem for other nations to solve. The ongoing US-Israeli conflict with Iran has killed over 2,000 people and disrupted global markets. Russia's defense ministry released visuals which show the Yars intercontinental ballistic missile being transported on mobile launchers. Well, this during alleged drills in Siberia by the strategic missile forces. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has asked General Randy George to step down as Chief of Staff of the US Army. The reason for the request has not been made public, but reports suggest Hegseth wanted someone who would carry out his and President Trump's vision for the army. A Pentagon spokesman later posted on X that George will be retiring from his position immediately. George is the latest senior military officer to be ousted during Trump's second term, and his removal as the top army officer occurs when American forces remain engaged in an ongoing war with Iran, which Trump says could continue for several more weeks. Pam Bondi has been removed as U.S. Attorney General in the Trump administration. Well, Trump posted on Truth Social that Bondi will be transitioning to a much-needed and important new job in the private sector. Trump has confirmed that Todd Blanche will be acting Attorney General. Bondi and the Justice Department has faced criticism over its handling of the Epstein files, including failing to redact the names of victims. US President Donald Trump has thanked Washington planning authorities for approving White House ballroom project. Approval comes 2 days after a judge ruled that work cannot proceed without Congress approval. The National Capital Planning Commission was chaired by one of Trump's former lawyers. The ballroom is part of Trump's broader push to reshape Washington's monumental core, which also includes plans for a 250-foot arc and a multi-year renovation of the Kennedy Center Performing Arts Complex. It has also ripped out and replaced the White House Rose Garden and added a wide array of gilding to the Oval Office. After circling Earth for a day, the Artemis 2 astronauts fired the Orion capsule's engines, propelling them towards Moon. The spacecraft is now on a 10-day mission, and the successful maneuver has placed the crew on a trajectory to enter the Moon's sphere of gravitational influence by Sunday morning. They are preparing to surpass the distance record set by Apollo 13 in 1970. The people of Burkina Faso must forget about democracy. Country's junta ruler has made this statement in an interview broadcast on national television. Captain Ibrahim Traore took over in a September 2022 coup after toppling another junta and has muzzled dissenting voices since then. The military government dissolved the country's electoral commission last year, and then in February, the junta-led parliament dissolved all political parties whose activities had been suspended since the year 2022. A group of critically endangered mountain bongos bred in European zoos are being prepared for transfer back to Kenya as part of a long-term effort to rebuild wild populations of one of Africa's rarest large mammals. With fewer than 50 thought to remain in the wild, conservationists hope that a combination of captive breeding, genetic management and rewilding will help prevent their extinction. In Japan's Kyoto city, against a backdrop of blooming cherry blossoms, a group of geishas elegantly scuffled onto a stage to begin a centuries-old performance celebrating the arrival of spring. Severe weather continues to batter central and southern Italy, with heavy rain, snow and strong winds causing flooding, evacuations and widespread disruption to road traffic and rail links. Winter rain lashed the southern Gaza Strip and flooded camps. Well, this as Palestinians tried to patch their worn-out tents to protect themselves against the rain and wind. Gaza's 2 million people have been living in a grim limbo since the ceasefire took effect nearly 6 months ago. The October 10th ceasefire aimed to halt more than 2 years of war and launch a broader process to end Hamas' 2-decade rule and rebuild Gaza. The longer-term aspects of the 20-point US ceasefire plan still have not been implemented. Residents of Delhi woke up to a hazy morning as strong winds and dust storm hit the capital city. The dust storm affected the visibility across the city. Strong cold winds reduced the temperature to 21 degrees Celsius, bringing relief from the recent day's heat. According to the Indian Meteorological Department, Delhi will witness a change in weather conditions over the weekend, with rain and thunderstorm also expected in the coming days. Asian markets edged higher in Easter trading as optimism grew over a potential reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. South Korea's Kospi led gains, jumping over 2.7%, while Japan's Nikkei 225 rose more than 1%. Investor sentiment improved after reports of Iran and Oman working on a plan to monitor transit through the key oil route. Meanwhile, US markets ended mostly flat after a volatile session as traders continue to track oil prices and geopolitical developments. Oil prices spiked sharply, with US crude jumping over 11% and Brent rising nearly 8% as fears grow over prolonged supply disruptions. The surge follows comments from Donald Trump, who vowed intensified military action against Iran in the coming weeks. Markets remain on edge as the Strait of Hormuz stays effectively shut. Analysts warn delays in restoring supply could keep prices elevated, with forecasts suggesting oil may climb as high as $130 or beyond if disruptions persist. The US dollar rebounded sharply as renewed concerns over the Iran conflict boosted demand for safe haven assets. The move follows comments from Donald Trump, who signaled intensified military action, dampening hopes of a quick resolution. The dollar strengthened against major currencies including the yen and Swiss franc, while the euro and pound slipped. Markets also saw rising oil prices and cautious sentiment, with investors now turning to upcoming US jobs data for clues on the economic outlook and interest rate direction. US AI firm Anthropic has accidentally leaked parts of its coding tool, triggering a wave of interest among developers, especially in China. The leak happened after an employee included source code of cloud code in a public software package. The file, over 500,000 lines long, was discovered and shared online by a cybersecurity researcher. The post quickly went viral, gaining over 33 million views and drawing global attention. Anthropic had earlier restricted access to its AI services in China, citing national security concerns. Despite the ban, Chinese developers have shown strong interest in the company's advanced coding tools. Dualis has fixed a major data exposure involving its money transfer service DUC app. An Amazon-hosted server was left publicly accessible without a password or encryption. Over 360,000 files, including passports, driver's license, selfies and user data were exposed online. The issue was flagged by a security researcher and resolved after disclosure. Authorities in Canada are now seeking more details as concerns over data security grows. New Zealand is developing a new tool to direct ChatGPT users showing signs of violent extremism towards de-radicalization support. The initiative involves startup TrueLink, which works with firms like OpenAI, Anthropic and Google. The system would guide flagged users to human support networks and AI chatbots designed to reduce extremist behavior. The move comes amid growing global concerns over AI's role in enabling harmful or violent content. The project is still in development with no timeline announced yet. Broadcom has appointed Amy Turner as its new Chief Financial Officer effective June 12th. Turner currently serves at Alphabet and will replace outgoing CFO Kristen Spears, who is retiring after nearly 5 years. She brings experience in financial reporting, corporate governance and AI-related transactions. Broadcom said Spears will stay on as an advisor for 9 months to support the transition. The chipmaker is seeing strong AI demand and expects AI revenue to cross $100 billion next year, despite ongoing supply constraints. Greece is set to announce a social media ban for children under 15 aimed at curbing addiction and online risks. The move follows rising concerns over cyberbullying, misinformation and excessive screen time among young users. An opinion poll shows around 80% of people support the ban as parents struggle to control children's online activity. Authorities say helpline calls for cyberbullying cases have more than doubled, with many users being primary school children. The plan is expected to follow models like Australia, where strict rules limit social media access for minors. Heads have started to roll in the Italian Football Federation. Gabriele Gravina has resigned as the chief of the FIGC following the national side's failure to qualify for a third consecutive World Cup. The 72-year-old announced his resignation on Thursday following a meeting held at the Football Federation's headquarters in Rome. Gravina's resignation comes amid a crisis in Italian football, with the president of UEFA warning the country could lose its role as co-host of the European Championship in 2032 unless the country upgrades its football infrastructure. Gravina took over the job in October 2018. Despite the World Cup failure, Italy did win Euro 2020 in his tenure. A vote to elect a new president will be held in June. Actor Ryan Gosling has officially stepped away from the next feature film by Oscar-winning directors Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. But the duo gained fame for Everything Everywhere All at Once. The departure comes down to unavoidable scheduling conflicts, Gosling's extensive global press commitments. The untitled Universal Pictures project is still moving forward towards a targeted November 2027 theatrical release. The studio and directors are actively looking to recast the lead. Illumination and Nintendo have scored another massive box office hit as the Super Mario Galaxy movie raked in $34.5 million on its opening day. The movie has secured the biggest opening day of 2026 so far. The animated sequel, directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Yelenick, brings back Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy and Jack Black while adding Donald Glover, Brie Larson to ensemble voice cast. Oscar-winning director Bong Joon-ho has unveiled the first look at his debut animated film Ali, currently slated for a 2027 worldwide theatrical release. Backed by a budget of roughly $60 million, it is one of the most expensive Korean films of all time. The deep-sea adventure featuring voice work from Werner Herzog and stunning underwater 3D animation by D-Neg. Actor and singer Haley Steinfeld and Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen are officially parents. The couple welcomed their first child, a baby girl. The couple opted to remain private about details of their child. The couple married last May and announced the pregnancy in December 2025. Federal prosecutors in Dallas have charged rapper Pooh Shiesty and 8 co-conspirators with armed robbery and kidnapping following a violent confrontation at a Texas recording studio in January 2026. The incident reportedly stemmed from a contract dispute regarding Shiesty's deal with 1017 Records. According to the Department of Justice, Shiesty arranged a business meeting at the studio that rapidly escalated into a coordinated armed takeover where victims were held at gunpoint. Well, that is it in this edition. News and updates will continue on the other side. Keep watching WION World is One.